Hi everybody, I want to talk about the neurodegeneration, exactly the pathophysiology of the neurodegeneration. But first we need to introduce what is neurodegeneration is, what can be the cause of neurodegeneration, and what happens if the neuron is degenerated. Neurodegeneration is a loss of the neuron. The neuron can lose its function and itself can be lost, and there is a neuron death takes place. When a neuron death takes place, it means the connection between this neuron and the other neuronal network will be lost. This means that no connections anymore in the center between the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system, and that leads to fatal disorders like Alzheimer's, ALS, BD, and many other neurodegenerative disorders. This is very important to know about it, because if you are a neuroscientist or you are a student in neuroscience, you will need to learn this information. If you are a normal person, you need to know that to protect yourself and your lovers from getting into this trap. The neurodegeneration can be due to mutation, genetic cause, or non-genetic cause. And the non-genetic cause is unknown why that happened and when that exactly happened. When that neuron gets bad and lose its function. For example, if the motor neuron lose its function and encounter neuronal death, it means that the person will unable even to do very simple tasks like moving, even swallowing, even breathing. The patient will not be able to do that. But that happens very fast because neurodegeneration is progressive. The problem behind these types of disorders that it is discovered very late, after the state becomes very bad. If we take ALS, for example, we can see cases that suddenly fell down. After many checks, doctors find that this person has a loss in the motor neuron, which he didn't pay attention to before. The other problem is most of these disorders haven't a real medicine yet, so most of them are fatal. Once the onset of that disorder starts, that onset of the symptoms, the person will count down for his or her death. So they are very dangerous, and they are not like other disorders that can give us signs long time before they become worse. The, the cause of this, as I mentioned before, can be genetic and can be non-genetic. What is the scientific cause? What is the pathophysiology behind the neurodegeneration? The neurodegeneration can happen as a result of several possible mechanisms, which is first, it's totally unclear until now. So one of the known mechanisms is protein misfolding and aggregation of undesired proteins. So sometimes due to certain genetic mutation or cellular stress like oxidative stress or environmental stress, this can cause a failure in the protein normal homeostasis mechanism, leading to aggregation of unwanted protein in the cell, and these aggregates can be toxic to the cell and can lead to neuronal death. And when it becomes toxic, it will fire certain excitatory mechanism to fight these toxic aggregates, which in turn the the excitatory mechanism itself will be toxic to the cell. Like in Alzheimer's disease, there is a formation of beta amyloid plaques, which is which are aggregated, leading to death of the neuron. Also Parkinson, alpha-synuclein is aggregated into Lewy bodies within the neuron and leading to total neuronal death. Another possible mechanism is the mitochondrial dysfunction and also the oxidative stress. Mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell and is responsible for ATP production. So mitochondrial dysfunction, which can usually happen to genetic mutation or as a result of aging, can lead to a reduction in the production of the ATP. This reduction in ATP level will increase the reactive oxygen species, which are toxic and cause oxidative stress and can induce neuronal death and can induce excitatory mechanism, which in turn will be toxic too to the neuron. So we will get into a closed circle. The impact of the undesired mechanism will cause another mechanism to be fired, which in turn can lead to more oxidation of the cell and more damage. So it's a closed circle. Third mechanism can be excitotoxicity. This is a mechanism in which there is an excessive stimulation of the neurons by excitatory neurotransmitter like glutamate, which happens under stress. Like for example, when there is an oxidative stress in the neuron, it will fire the glutamate, it will induce the production of glutamate to induce an excitotoxicity mechanism by itself. And we are back in the closed circle. Also, neuroinflammation is another mechanism, another possible mechanism for the neuronal death. Neuroinflammation involves the immune cells inflammation or activation like the microglia and the astrocytes. When there is an injury or there is an infection or abnormal protein aggregates, the microglia are excited. And when the inflammation exists, microglia become more excited, more and more excited, and here it will form a toxic excitation. It will be a toxic excitation, which itself can lead to neuronal death instead of solving the problem. So, in short, all the mechanisms are leading to each other, and that's why scientists didn't know yet what is the first excitation that happen which leads to neuronal death, which comes first. So for example, if we talk about the aggregation of undesired protein aggregates like tau proteins, when tau proteins are aggregated, it causes excitation of the microglia. Okay, and this excitation can be overdose, and when it becomes overdose, it will lead to more protein aggregation, and when more protein aggregation takes place or formed, it will cause more excitation of the microglia, but we don't know which is the first. Is the protein aggregation is the cause for microglial toxic excitation, or the microglia over inflammation cause the protein aggregation? We don't know what comes first. This is the tricky point. This is the thing after which scientists are looking and investigating possible routes. But at the end, scientists said, well, we can search for something called biomarkers. What are biomarkers? This will be our next episode. Thank you for listening. Let me know your thoughts. Hope this will be useful for you, and thank you.